I began going to the VA for my health care in 1996. Yes, before most of you were born, except Greg. Back then, the files were on paper, x-rays on film. They even had to roll it. The nurse would roll my chart in on a cart so big, the doctor needed a forklift just to review it. I remember hearing the horror stories of veterans talking about surgeries where they amputate the wrong limb. Now the VA is very careful. Everyone from the receptionist to the surgeon asks, in your own words, tell us what we're doing for you today. Making me pretty apparently is not an acceptable answer. On my 50th birthday, my doctor goes, happy birthday. I ordered you a colonoscopy. Wow, best gift ever. The VA has come a long way. The files are now electronic. Apparently, they put check engine lights on. Went off mid-life. I went for a specialist appointment, and the doctor said, I see you're due for a prostate exam. I sent a note to your primary doctor asking for a digital exam. Wow, now I am impressed. Digital exam, computerized, cutting edge. Go to my next appointment. My doctor, 6'5", 290 pounds, used to play linebacker for the Chicago Bears. He's got fingers like fire hoses. He says, stand up, drop your pants, and bend over. And behind me, I hear that glove snap. Shot heard around the world. I said, Doc, I thought this was a digital exam. He said it was. Holding up one finger, one digit. Doctor, that was a personal foul. I brag to my wife all the time about how good the VA care is. She had to check it out for herself. She'd gone to her own primary doctor complaining about a sinus infection. He said, take Tylenol. It will go away in a week. A week later, it got worse. She woke up the day of my surgery with heart palpitations. I told her, go to the emergency room. Even though you're not a veteran, they have to at least stabilize you. I was being wheeled into surgery. She was being admitted. I was out in 3 days. She stayed in for 6. We shared a cardiologist. Not quite the couple's getaway we were planning. 5 years ago, I have to go for my second colonoscopy. Now the doctor orders endoscopy, both ends. So the doctor asked, do you have any questions before we start? I said, yeah. Which end do you do first? We start at the top. We use the same camera. Recently moved to Kentucky, and now I have to get established with not again another VA. And my first appointment on April 1st, no joke. An older woman walks in. She does that glove snap. Tells me to drop my pants. Then she laughs. April Fools, I'm the housekeeper. It leaves me standing there. Finally, my doctor comes in, says, I see you due for another colonoscopy. I said, wow, this guy must be psychic or my check engine light is flashing. But this time the preparation is much better. I got to do a 2-day prep. Instead of drinking that gallon of Go Lightly, which actually should be called Go Pray. You're going to pray that you survive it. But the 2-day prep, I got to do fasting, take some medication, but when it kicks in, it kicks in. You sprint to the bathroom, you hear that thunderous boom, and you stand at attention because you know they're getting ready to play taps. Then you hear whoosh. Now you think you broke a pipe and you can't find the shutoff valve. One thing though is don't eat anything spicy the night before. It feels like a flamethrower. The worst part is the procedure is less than 30 minutes. The best thing I could recommend if you've never had a colonoscopy before is take a week off of work. You need at least 2 days for preparation, 1 day for procedure, another day to recover, and maybe a day to cry. But trust me, you'll thank me later, because no matter what, it all comes out in the end.
Hey.